Hi, I'm Shannon. It may feel like everyone around you these days is doing yoga and telling you how great it is for you, and maybe you're a beginner, or even if you've been doing it for a while, you'll still find that a lot of the traditional yoga poses can be really challenging and tough to get into. So we're going to go over just some ways that you can use props to your advantage to make your yoga experience a little bit more enjoyable. I got into yoga when I overtrained and got into a running injury. And what I found was that the yoga felt great, but even in certain poses and holding them for long amounts of time, my body would feel hurt. It would actually do it more damage than good. So I needed to make sure that I was listening to my body, so in a class I could get the benefits of yoga, but also adjust it to my specific needs. And that's what you want to make sure that you're doing. You know your body better than anyone. It's speaking to you with aches and pains and telling you when things are just a little bit off and not right. And yoga is really great because it gives you some time with your body so you can be aware of any injuries or discomfort before they get any worse. And it also gives you time to practice listening to what your body has to say. So to make your initial yoga practice a little bit more enjoyable, there's a simple pair of props that you can get, and that's yoga blocks. So these are easy to find. They'll often, almost always, be in yoga studios and classes. But you can also get them online, find them at a specialty sports store yourself. These are a little bit smaller than many of them, but you can find 3 or 4 inch width blocks. And the benefit of these is that they are going to help so that you're not focusing on just reaching your toes or reaching the ground. Instead, they'll help bring the ground to you. So if you're stepping into something like a pyramid pose, when you're hinging forward, your hands can come to the blocks and they don't need to be straining for the ground or not having anywhere to go. You can also take advantage of your own body as props. So in a position like this, using your hands against your thigh or your hands against your shin, that can be really helpful, especially if you're in a place or just doing some stretches where you don't have props around. You can also use something like a chair, especially if you're at home and looking to just get some stretches. The same position, so a pyramid pose, when I'm leaning forward, I can set myself up so my hands can just come to a chair, so I'm nice and stable, and I can really control the stretch that I'm getting in the back of the leg. You could also use a chair for some nice stretches even through the back, so you're in kind of a downward dog stance. And to step into other poses more comfortably without having to worry too much about your balance. Also, a great prop to have is a blanket. So definitely have one of these. You can just round something like this up from what you have at home, or even a pillow. But especially when you're doing things like releasing the knee to the ground, this can make a huge difference in whether or not you're comfortable in a position, and can make it so that you can actually hold it and get a stretch through the muscles that you're looking to and not just think about straining the knee. So you can get it as thick as you need. Make sure you have the padding available, and a lot of times it's going to be helpful for even just under the knees in something like a cat-cow. And then the blanket's also going to be useful when you're doing seated postures. So if you're stretching out the backs of your legs, doing forward folds, you can use this to sit on, or you can also use a block to elevate your hips. And this way it'll help prevent your back from rounding. Instead, with a little bit of lift, we'll even add a little bit more. It's going to help you sit more upright and feel more comfortable staying here for a long time. So for the beginning and ends of your yoga practice, using a block is great to sit on as well, since ideally you want to try and keep your hips above your knees to keep blood flow moving down. So having these props on hand can make the yoga practice a lot more enjoyable. Yoga is supposed to feel good. So if you start noticing that things are feeling uncomfortable, find a class where you can speak to a teacher to ask them questions. Ask a teacher, maybe even get a one-on-one session, and you can also reach out to me. You especially never want your neck, lower back, or knees, or any joints for that matter, to feel uncomfortable. It's okay to push yourself a little bit further into a stretch in a muscle that maybe you haven't spent a lot of time paying attention to in a while, but you never want it to hurt. So you can find more information, videos, classes, and retreats at my website, shannonsedano.com. The last name is spelled Soda No, and I look forward to hearing from you.